team is targeted to attack Caucasians and black people. The people who are most immune are Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese.
Well, g'day. Happy New Year. Hope you've had a bloody great one, folks. It's been a very, very, very wet time in southeast Queensland where I am. I can tell you that from Christmas night on, it has just been go, go, go. My mum lives in the area where the man-made tornado, I'm going to say, came through the Gold Coast. And I haven't actually spoken to anybody on the property, but somebody that we all know and love, very dear to our hearts, owns a property out the back of the Gold Coast. And this tornado essentially was born out behind the property, came through Canungra, and the rest of the hinterland came over Maudsley, tore down through Oxenford into Helensvale, and I think Discovery Drive is still a disaster zone. I don't think that's opened up yet. That's basically the road across the road from the Movie World entrance from anyone who's familiar with the area. Really up the other end of that area, Discovery Drive, that's the worst part. Lots of power lines down, lots of trees down. There is a phenomenal amount of water coming down. And of course, there are a lot of people who've only just got the power back on after spending 6, 7, or 8 days without it. And in fact, there are still people who are in the Gold Coast hinterland who are not expecting their power back on until after January 5. That's from Christmas night. So there is a huge amount of power lines down. There are crews coming interstate to try and help with the Queensland crews to try and rectify that as fast as possible. And our thanks go out to everybody who is working their ass off. No doubt, not quite the way you'd expected to spend the Christmas New Year break, I'm sure. Although people in this game, I guess, this is the busy time of the year for them. They know they're going to get called out. They know there's going to be a lot of overtime. So, it's the time of year where you don't get to take holidays, I suspect, particularly if you're in the power game and trying to keep power lines attached. What a pity we don't have Tesla power running just yet. But, well, there's a great many pities about a great many things, I have to say. Oh, God, I've just started a program I didn't want to start. Let's turn that off. And I'm trying to bring up a website that I want to show you tonight. Tonight we're very lucky. We've got a couple of guests. Well, I hope we'll have a couple. We may not. We may only have a single guest, and that single guest will be this bloke. This is Camillo. Now, you will have heard of Camillo because we talk about him a bloody great deal here on this show. That's because the Sunshine Coast would be a much lesser place without him. Would you please put your hands together, sit back in your chairs, raise a glass to the man himself. Camillo, how are you, mate? I'm not wearing my special hat in your honour tonight. I apologise. That's in the front seat of the bus.
Oh, good evening.
So, Camillo, you're running for council. Tell me, what's the thought process there?
Well, as you know, I've been working in the background with My Place Nambour. I've been working with all the My Place groups on the Sunshine Coast. We've been quite active with the attending council meetings, and I became quite vocal about the homelessness situation. So My Place Nambour and My Place Coolum, My Place Noosa got together, and we decided to form the Queensland Homeless Working Group, which we did MOUs with a couple of other charities around the area.
Yeah.
It started off by getting a database of homeless people, and then it developed into me doing some negotiations or investigations with a block of land that's been vacant for 10 years. It's been abandoned and vandalised. And so I've been doing some negotiating with the state government to find out that the site was abandoned because there was a native claim title on it.
Right.
At one stage, it was offered to the Noosa Council. The Noosa Council rejected it because of the native title claim, plus the fact that COVID hit at the same time. So therefore, the site just stayed abandoned, and it's been vandalised. I sent you the photos showing the amount of vandalism.
Yeah.
But further negotiations with some of the local Indigenous and First Nations elders, we managed to come up with the grandmother law, and with the grandmother law, we've been given caretaker role with that block of land.
Right.
And so we've been working with a few groups around Sunshine Coast, and we've finally got to a point now where we've opened it, and we were hoping to get people in there by Christmas, but the amount of vandalism and destruction on the site, we decided that it was too risky putting people there, especially young mums with kids or young families with kids. There was just too much broken glass and other material. So we've decided that this Friday, all weather permitting, we're having a big working bee.
I'm just trying to download and get into my system some pictures to show folks here. What needs to be doing just before we get into that. And I'll just select a couple of other photos. Just tell me, when you did the audit, how many homeless folk did you find on the Sunshine Coast?
The question was cancelled. Oh, yeah, right. Somewhere between 6,500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's almost double since I was living on the Sunshine Coast. I was saying it was about 3.
And the latest figures from the state government and federal government show that that's at a crisis point now. It's escalating. And you've got 3 levels of homelessness, and this is what probably a lot of people don't understand, that homelessness has three levels.
Yeah.
You have your level 1, which are those that prefer to be homeless because they've either got a mental health issue or a drug addiction issue, and they're currently being taken care of through the methadone program and other mental health programs. Then you've got homeless stage 2, which are people who prefer to live in mobile homes, like your bus, for instance. And there's quite a lot of people like that who that's the lifestyle they've chosen. So they're still called homeless because they don't have a home as such, but their mobile home is their home. That's the choice that they have, and they travel around and park their vehicles wherever and sleep for the night. And then you've got your level 3 homeless, which we class as being displaced families that it's been caused by, one, the COVID issue, where people who refused to take the poison dart lost their jobs or lost their businesses. The lockdowns caused a lot of businesses to close. Therefore, those people lost their jobs. And the long-term issue of it was that people lost their homes because they couldn't keep up with the mortgages. So they're living in cars with, husband and wife and a couple of kids. And so they're the sort of ones that they're the ones that we're concerned about.
Yeah.
Because they've been displaced through no fault of their own.
No. And this area that you've been given access to, given is a strong term, but this area at the moment does require some level of work to bring up to standards for particularly, like you say, young families. There's a lot of area there for kids to play, and I'm going to suggest that you'll probably allow animals, will you? That kind of thing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
here's a
there's
couple of pictures that
110
I've
car
sucked in.
parks. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'll bring it back up. There you go.
Yeah.
So a lot of the work is actually graffiti.
Yeah, except for that
But
one.
there is also, as you can see, stuff on the ground there. Yeah, there's a bit of stuff on the ground that is going to need cleaning up, and that one. So some plastering has been kicked in, punched in, whatever the young blokes get up to. All that sort of needs to be tidied up. It doesn't look too overrun by weeds in that shot particularly, but certainly some mowing might come in a bit handy. This area...
that current photo there, that has got a sink. So in the middle there, in the middle of that U shape, there's a sink there, and there used to be like a gas bottle with a stove. So once we tidied that up, and we've got donations of gas stoves and stuff like that, so that can be reutilized.
I just think I saw that somewhere. I don't know whether or not I've got another angle of that. I haven't sucked it in. If I do, so maybe that's it. There you go, that one.
There.
Yeah, right. So that really is could be a communal cooking area.
Exactly. And you can see there's PowerPoints there that have been damaged, but that could be reutilized. And people camping can, like you said, it's a community kitchen.
Toilet, showers, those sorts of facilities.
Yeah, the water's working, the water's functioning, so that's cool.
Right.
As far as power, there is power to the site, but the electrician who came to inspect it said there's so much damage to the power points and stuff like that's why they recommended not only with the electricity being still live and power points damaged, but the amount of rubble that's in the area. If there's 110 car spaces there which people could park, but kids being kids want to go and wander and have a look around, and we just felt that
might be just a bit dangerous at the moment.
Just a bit dangerous, and the last thing we need is someone getting hurt.
So that's why you're having a working bee this Friday.
This Friday and Saturday, we're having a working bee. Hopefully, we've got lots of people who are going to donate their time and bring their buckets and spades and shovels and whatnot.
So this is it's happening Friday the 5th, and you say Saturday as well.
Well, we're hoping, we're hoping that we can get the worst of it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really, what do people? Well, ideally, what you need is someone with a small truck and a bobcat. Really, don't you? Because that'll be able to get through and shuffle out most of that heavier, larger sort of rubble and rubbish in a pretty quick kind of way. Have you done a deal with council at all so that any tipping fees or whatever they're going to get charged for dumping this sort of stuff can be covered?
I believe that my place, Noosa, has taken care of that.
Yeah. Excellent.
So I'm hoping that that we can get some of the.
So we need an appeal then tonight to somebody who's got a bobcat. It might be the downtime still. A lot of these tradies, while many have gone back to work this week or will go back to work this week, maybe we can convince those that haven't gone back yet to come out.
Time would be great.
And come out and spend a day or half a day, whatever you can afford to spend to help clean up this area, so that the 6,000 to 6,500 homeless people that are looking for shelter every night on the Sunshine Coast have somewhere to go. Now, we're talking about a space that is quite large.
27
Like you
acres.
say, yeah, 110 car parks. And how many acres? Sorry,
27.
27 acres. Well, you can do a fair bit of kite flying, fair bit of dog running. You can pitch a tent. You can get access to somewhere where there is a fridge. That's the goal, I guess. But
Yeah.
well, I'll bring up the website for. Well, is it going to allow me to share it? Hang on.
Yeah, just click on the homeless icon and it'll take it straight there.
Oh, yeah, righto. Well, hang on. Share this tab instead. That's what I wanted to do.
There you go.
So here is the Community Village site, which is, if you want to come and have a look, folks, communityvillage.com.au. And this explains really what the vision for this area will be.
Yeah.
A great deal of work has gone into this website. Can I just compliment you and your team, Camillo? It's a beautiful website.
Greg's done a fantastic job.
Yeah, really easy to follow, and a spectacular effort. So this is the vision, and with 27 acres, that vision is now possible because you've been able to reach out and gain some permissions through the Cubby, along with, as you say, the grandmother law thing that's been going on recently. This stands to be one of the greatest, most significant homeless. Well, I don't want to call it a shelter, but one of the greatest deeds done for homeless in this state.
Yeah,
I would say in its history.
Australia-wide.
Yeah, and it needs to be repeated Australia-wide. Sadly, it would be wonderful if we could get this place to be able to help as many as possible, but eventually not have that need for accommodating them anymore, but maybe educational facilities or, we used to call it school to work, but transitioning if you want to learn work skills, that kind of thing. It had so much, or it holds so much potential for the future.
Yeah. So if you go through the website, you'll see there that we've actually got volunteer social workers, counsellors, psychologists. We've got some horticulturalists, permaculture people who are going to build gardens and self-contained veggies and all that sort of thing in there. Some of the buildings, once we get them fixed up, can be utilised as classrooms, like you said. For the workshop can be utilised again to train people. The classrooms can be used for training people and teaching some of the people who will come to stay there how to become self-sufficient and be part of a community village. So everybody pitches in, does their little bit in the village, and they get to stay there for as long as they like. And you grow your own veggies and that, and then what's left over go to the markets. These are all the long-term visions that we've got.
Yeah. I think it is just one of the most amazing and well thought out strategies for 2024, mate, for the homeless for 2024. You can see the address there, folks, the Community Village, Tewantin, 24 Koroi Noosa Road in Tewantin. That's out the back of Noosa for those folks that are not really aware of the areas as such, but it is a wonderful part of the world to be in. A real bushland setting, which is not too far from the beach and not too bad looking beaches if you are that way inclined. So you have village law laid out on the website, so there's no reason for anybody to be under any kind of misapprehension. Now, how will this play out? Will there be security on site? Will there be... so
that's
do you want to explain that?
We're working on having on-site managers.
Yep.
And people will be given a permit. So you'll have to apply for a permit. And I think there's photos of the permit there. But the permit basically it's stamped by one of the on-site managers, and then you have to sign the back of it and agree to the conditions, which is basically, simple things like respect the land, respect that it's a sacred site, be kind to one another, do no harm to anyone, participate in the village chores, and that sort of thing. So we've tried not to make it too dictatorial.
Are you allowed to have your obligatory 5 o'clock wine under the awning?
Oh yeah. If you have a look at the site, there's a circle there, and what we plan to have is we're hoping that the Aboriginal elders will do a ceremony there to clean and remove any spirits that are not of like evil spirits or anything like that. So they're going to have a cleansing ceremony, and they'll do their tribal dances and stuff like that, and a welcome ceremony is all in the pipeline. So
yeah, awesome. So let me just drop that out for a moment, and I'll bring up the image again for folks if you can help at all Friday or Saturday. And my plan is to come up and try and help you as well. I've run into just a small problem with the vehicle. I was going to be bringing up there we go. Looking for that. I was going to be bringing the bus up, but somehow I've managed to drain the batteries dead flat, as in DEA, completely flatlined, dead flat, and I've got 3 of them. So today I've been working on that, trying to remedy that problem. With a little bit of luck, they'll charge up. Certainly, hopefully, the main truck battery will charge up, and we'll go with the solar ones after that. Because the vehicle's not parked out in the sun, it makes it a bit hard to get solar.
So the other thing that we're doing as well is when they apply for a permit, everybody that applies for a permit will be given what we call a homeless pack. So the homeless pack will consist of simple things like a toothbrush, toothpaste, sanitary products for the women, tampons and conditioner and shampoo, that sort of thing. Band-aids, dry snack foods, kids' books, hair bands, fruit packs, deodorant, tissues, that type of thing. Will all come in little bundles, little packs as a welcome.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful, mate.
And these packs are all being donated by some of the local businesses and then put together by our My Place women.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Certainly a brilliant effort that I'm so pleased that My Place is associated with, and you, of course, because you are such a rock in the community and a prime mover, can I say. When you get going and get behind something, shit moves, mate. Get shit done on the Sunshine Coast. That's what I think your slogan should be for council, mate. Getting shit done on the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah.
So we'll just mention it again. Friday, Saturday, folks, if you would like to come up, is there any chance we might throw a barbecue? Or
I think some of the ladies are bringing food and drinks and making sandwiches for the workers. So, yeah.
All right.
We've got a good team.
Yeah, come up, folks. Bring your leaf blowers, your brooms, your shovels, your rakes, your implements of destructions.
Yep.
If you've got a shop vac, bring that. Buckets, mops, gloves. Always bring your safety stuff. Right, where if you're not steel cap boots, then make sure you are wearing solid shoes,
closed shoes.
Yep. And if you are at all worried about snakes, then wear long pants. If you're not worried about snakes, then still wear long pants. And if you're going to be stupid and not wear long pants, then wear long socks, thick, long socks, along with your boots. Just a thought. I had a friend recently bitten by an eastern brown, You don't need that. It really does tend to spoil your Christmas. Now, if you do happen to have bigger tools, chainsaws, whippersnippers, that sort of stuff, that would be really useful. If you happen to have a trailer and you didn't mind bringing all your tools in your trailer, by all means, we want you to go home with all your tools. So bring what you're comfortable with and make sure you mark them as yours. But hopefully your tools will be used by your people, because if you're coming, maybe you've got a couple of kids you can drag along too and get them involved. Maybe mum will come and get involved. It'll be a great bonding moment for the community on the Sunshine Coast and for the My Place family. So I'm very excited, and I will be getting up there, whether it'll be in the bus or whether I'll just drive up, but I'll be up there to come and give you a hand on Friday, mate, 100%. And we'll do a couple of little live bits, probably on the Nun 2K channel throughout the day on Friday, folks, to catch up with that. When is the local council elections, and when will you start?
March 16th.
March 16th. So you're probably going to start campaigning very shortly.
I've basically already started on social media. I have, and I've got these.
Oh, hang on a second. Yep. Let me remove that. Oh, wrong one I'm removing. Shopping lists.
Yay!
Oh, wow.
That's that one. And then this is the other one. I don't know if you can see it. There you go.
There you go. Very good. So you're getting those up in windows around town too?
Yep.
With all council elections, particularly, but I find on the coastal fringes of Australia, there is a lot of money involved. Now, I know you are a very generous man. You do not have a large amount of money, and certainly not a large amount of money to throw at a council election. So are you taking donations or funds to help you campaign through this period?
That would be great.
Yeah. So people can get details of how they can support you at camillo.net.au?
Yes, there's a donation page at the bottom.
Yeah. Right. Well,
and it all helps.
So for people who may not know you, let's face it, while you are a very nice man and you do get around a bit, I can't imagine everybody on the Sunshine Coast has met you. Can anybody within the Sunshine Coast Council region vote for you, or are there certain council ridings or areas that only people...
Region 10.
Region 10 you are?
Division 10, yeah.
Division 10.
So that takes in Nambour, Mapleton, Kenilworth, Yandina, and parts of Yamundi.
Okay, so pretty much the northern...
Yeah, it's a big area.
Yeah, pretty much the northern side of the highway, right up to the back of Noosa. So that's a pretty broad area. Yeah. So I've known Camillo now for a couple of years. Is it a couple of years? Well, certainly 18 months. Be. And he and his lovely wife Tammy, who's hiding off in the background there because she never likes to come on and smile, are just wonderful people and so dedicated to community. Camillo has volunteered his time since his retirement to go and help people in courthouses around the Sunshine Coast. And he's a great document signer, always has been a wonderful document signer. But let's hope he can get to sign some documents that mean things on the Sunshine Coast are going to change for the better for all of us. And if you happen to live in Division 10 and council elections are coming up, then I would commend Camillo as someone you should highly, highly, highly consider, instead of the person who's probably just nodding their head to all the smart city paperwork that's coming, over their desk and raising their hand at the appropriate time and saying, aye. Well, you don't want people like that on your council. That has to change, and make it start a change on the Sunshine Coast with Camillo. Mate, thank you for coming on, joining me tonight. Your dinner must be ready, so I'm going to let you go.
Community back into community.
Absolutely, and what a bloody great job you're doing.
we the people, government by the people, for the people, of the people.
Absolutely, mate. Well, I take my hat off to you. I'll see you on Friday, and I look forward to being able to help in any way I possibly can in the lead up to your election to the Sunshine Coast Council on 16th, you said, of March?
Yeah.
Bloody great. Good on you, buddy. Good luck. Go and have dinner.
All right, mate.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Friday.
See ya.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, right. Camillo, on the Sunshine Coast, folks, if you can come and help, if you're up here on holidays, you've got a pair of gloves and a pair of rubber boots. By the sound of it, you might need them at the moment. We would love to see you. So 9 till 3 at the community village at Tewantin, 24 Karoi Noosa Road at Tewantin. And basically, it's a big cleanup. So strong shoes, and make sure you bring something gloves-wise for your hands. If you are a painter at all, or you happen to have paint rollers, paint brushes, that kind of thing, paint trays, that would be very useful. There is an awful lot of graffiti there, obviously. A lot of that's going to be obviously washed over, wiped over, or stripped off. Council do have, whether or not they're going to help, council do have certain graffiti stripping chemicals that they spray on and basically melt the stuff off. I don't think Camillo and the team are going to have much access to that. So my guess is it's going to be a fairly thick covering of an undercoat before we can do much by way of normal painting on there. But if you can help, more hands make light work. And there is a bit of work there to go. As we said, and some of those pictures show, if you have a bobcat, if you have a little truck or a trailer that you tow it around on, and you're prepared to donate a day, it would be such a help for some of the bigger bits of rubble and some of the bigger bits of rubbish that are floating around. There is some air conditioning ducting and stuff that's down that's got to go away. Mostly, folks, it's brooms. Bring big yard brooms and shovels because there is a lot of broken rubble, small bits of rubble, and glass. So be prepared. Lots of glass. And so bring brooms, shovels, implements of destruction. If you do happen to have a bobcat in the backyard, please bring that. And the truck that you will bring it on, we'll put it to good use. And as Camillo said, the My Place Noosa team are looking after all the dumping fees at the tip, so there won't be any problems with any of that. Really appreciate you if you can go and do anything in regards to that, and I'll see you up there on Friday for it. Looking forward to it. Let's get into the room, say hello to a few people. My apologies. I think Michelle Bradley was she Michelle Bradley Smith the first in the room tonight? God, you've been talking a lot, folks. There's bloody plenty of comments. Yes, she was. Howdy. How are you, doll? I hope things are well and you're not too wet up your part of the world. If you're not wet yet, trust me, it's coming. It seems to be blowing north at the moment. So good luck to you if you're all up there. Sunflower, God love you. Yes, many prayers to those affected by the storms and the rain. I'll get into the storms and the rain in just a minute or two. Brucey boy, Happy New Year to you and the lovely Pete in Victoria. I hope the two of you had a fabulous Christmas, New Year, and life, the universe, and everything is going well for you and yours. Zippy, I missed you too, mate. I know I got told off for being so long away in between drinks. I do apologise. There was no drinking really going on. It was more like watching out for Mum's place, which did suffer a bit of damage. But nowhere near the damage that many others have suffered in and around the northern Gold Coast area, the Upper Coomera, sort of Hope Island. And I think I spoke about it the other night, Ephraim Island, Paradise Point, all through there, really, 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 really badly messed up. Big trees uprooted and thrown across roads, and brick walls knocked over, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, very, very messy indeed. Linda Bailey, Happy New Year to you. Hope you are doing well. Peace and prosperity, positive outcomes for 2024. God, aren't we all wishing for that? Vince is in the room. Cooker, Phil the cooker is in it too. So g'day, Phil. Wanted to say hello to you. Vince and I have been chatting today. He's the one who's helped me figure out my issues with batteries. Well, I don't know if we figured them out, but at least I can figure out now if I'm not figuring them out. Does that make sense to you? Did I thank you, Linda, for your donation? I really appreciate the sticker. Thank you so much. All right, let's go back to the live chat, see who's doing what, where, and why. I really do wish you all the best for 2024. I feel very vibed about 2024. I think there's going to be a lot of revelation this year. Those of us, I'm probably preaching to the converted, you lot, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see some things in the not too distant future that's going to continue shaking the normies. And hopefully it shakes them hard enough to open up a few eyes. Speaking of the normies, I forgot to mention to Camillo that he needs to get on to, I'm not sure if Mark and Caroline are back on the air yet at Mix FM on the sunny coast, but I'd be giving the whoever is doing brekkie at the moment a call and seeing whether or not you can't get a bit of a plug on the local radio up there for Friday and Saturday, mate. Just go and give that a look. I can see he's still sitting in the green room backstage, so hopefully he's listening, not just scoffing down tonight's sausages and mash. Aussie Sue, how are you, darling? I hope you had a great Christmas, New Year too. Only 12 out of 34 waiting. Hit the like button, everyone, please. Well, my thing here says we've got 333 people watching, and that doesn't count Rumble or Twitter or wherever else I'm streaming to at the moment. Project Matilda, I hope. Didn't get a rejection tonight, so fingers crossed we're going there. So yeah, thanks to everybody who is watching, and thank you to everybody who's made contact over the break. They've sent emails. I've had a lot of emails regarding the X39 product. If you've purchased something, you probably got an email from me today saying that Tim Dwyer and I are going to have another Zoom meeting on the 7th. Hope to see you there for that one. We'll get in and talk a little bit more about X39 and some of the amazing stuff that it's doing shortly. I can see one of the people who has sent me a testimonial is actually in the chat tonight. Now, I just want to make sure that that she is 100% okay with me playing her testimonials. She sent me 2 testimonials via Messenger today. And the first one is just prior to the patches turning up. She wasn't quite sure when they were going to turn up. Luckily, it was sooner rather than later. And then the second one is after the patches. Now, in the second video, this lady makes some amazing personal admissions, very private, very personal admissions about her medical state. She has, in her video, asked me if I would like to edit, the following bit out. And I didn't really think about editing it out. It hasn't... it has no impact on me, what she has said, outside of I think you're a terribly wonderful, brave lady to tell us your story. And I am very happy to share it, provided that you still feel that way. So you know who you are, and I guess if you do say anything in the chat, it's going to identify you. So maybe don't. I'm going to play your video, and I know from our previous discussions, I'm pretty sure. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Laurie. All right. Well, I'll do that. I was going to leave this till the end, but we'll play it now because we're talking about it. So Laurie is a lovely lady who has made contact with me and asked to get a couple of patches. So I sent those couple of patches to her, and they had a little bit of an effect, maybe. But she ordered more patches on the back of that. And, well, Maybe I'll just let her tell the story, shall I?
This is my first time really making a video. It's Christmas Eve. My patches are due sometime between Wednesday and Friday next week. I'm hoping very much that it's on Wednesday. I'm trying to cook myself some sausages for tea, and I find that I get up, check them, and then I have to come back and sit down. My back's hurting. I've taken some pain tablets. Seems to be helping a bit. I have better days and I have worse days, but I'm really looking forward to the patches getting here. There's a lot of other problems that I have too, but I'm not going to go through and delineate all of them. We'll just see how we go. This is the most debilitating outside of my dog, who wants to sit in my lap when he's not eyeballing the cat. Yeah. Come on Wednesday and please, patches, be there. My patches did get here on Wednesday, and I have been wearing a patch every day since. The second day, I tried putting it on my front here rather than on the back of my neck. It did not work for me. My pain came back with a vengeance, and it took a couple hours before the patches got back on top of it, but then they did. Something that I have been really debating sharing, and Carl, you may want to cut this out, and that's up to you. But I have suffered from herpes, the bad one, for the last almost 20 years, thanks to my ex-husband. And I know that it was him because I know of one other woman that he slept with, and it's the only man that slept with both of us, and she also has it. Bottom line is, the patches got rid of my back pain, upper back pain, lower back pain, and hip pain first. And then I noticed that the herpes nodules have shrank from being small marble size to being BB size. I mean, it's amazing. And they no longer itch and burn constantly like they used to. I couldn't sit without them troubling me. And that has diminished. They aren't gone, but hopefully with continued use of the patch, it will get rid of them. And if it doesn't, then come on MedBed Spa. Yeah, I am ecstatic. I am giving patches out 2 at a time to people to try and get their opinion of. And we'll see where it goes from there. Thank you, Carl, for sharing this amazing, amazing product.
Wow. Thank you, Laurie, for sharing your results. Your testimony is both amazing and beautiful and very personal. Thank you for sharing that. To be honest, it's not something that I'd ever thought about, the effects for folks with herpes. But if you are showing signs of at least some relief out of it, then thank God. Thank God. I do know a number of people, as it turns out, with herpes, and each suffers in a different way, some more debilitating than others. So I can only imagine what it's been like for you living with it for 20 years. So if you are getting some relief from it, thank God, and thank you for sharing. The X39 patches are having a dramatic effect on, let me say, because I'm no good with numbers and percentages, but I was going to say 96%, but let's be conservative and say 90% success rate. I have had a couple of emails from people where they have had no perceivable help when it comes to relief of pain. However, they've only had the 2 patches to try, and it's up to them to choose whether or not they want to go forward and see whether or not there have been some improvements after a month's worth of use, which, I would think if you're going to give it a go and you've had something wrong with you for a very long time, it would be pretty naive to think that it's just going to work overnight. If it is something, I was going to say, as simple as pain, then maybe it will help overnight, because we have seen plenty of overnight success stories with Carol, with Kate. Not so well. I'm not sure if Laurie was overnight success or not, but there are others where it takes longer. There is no guarantee for how much time it's going to take to make this thing work. And your body does have things going on with it on the inside that maybe you're not aware of. And so working on... And look, here's an example. Today, one of my dear friends sent me a news item coming from Channel 7 about a story regarding a breakthrough in diabetes treatment. A breakthrough in Queensland, in fact, at one of the Queensland universities, where they have been able to, and this is where it gets a bit interesting, they've been able to engineer something to get the pancreas working again in diabetics. Now, if this is the case and they can do it, where the pancreas essentially comes back to life, it will stop the need for any kind of diabetes insulin needles and monitoring in the future. Pancreas will essentially come back to life. Now, the university is doing this by introducing stem cells into the pancreas. Not necessarily the person's own stem cells. It's a stem cell therapy. And I don't know enough about it yet, but there's a lot of other jibbity jabs going on there. So I'd be very interested to see whether or not there is any kind of gene therapy being used in this new touted, and please God, let it be good, solution to diabetes. It would be wonderful if this can be fixed. However, I'm just a little bit concerned, as I'm sure we all are. So diabetes and a solution that is engineered, or would you expect your pancreas to come back to life if you were working using an X39 patch for 2 days? Would you expect your pancreas to start working again if you were a type 1 diabetic, insulin-dependent diabetic? Would you expect not to have to take your insulin just because you put the patch on for 2 days? Well, no, I would hope you wouldn't. But if you're wearing it for a month or 3 months or a year, you will see a difference in your insulin intake over that sort of time. Now, you won't feel the patches working on your pancreas or your insulin production because there's nothing there to feel. You'll only feel it if there's something going wrong. That's where pain comes from. And this is not me giving any doctor's advice or anything. I'm theorizing about how if these patches work to stimulate our own stem cells, and our own stem cells find the parts of our body that need the most work first, then eventually a diabetic's pancreas has got to really rise to the top of the list, you would think, wouldn't you? So the stem cells will go to work on the pancreas, and a measure of insulin production may return. Maybe. I don't know. What a great test to try, though. Thankfully, I have an insulin-dependent friend, not in a position at the moment to take on the patches on a regular basis. So I hope to be able to get to some position to be able to help her with that, because I think it, from an experimental perspective, it might be 6 months, it might be a year, it might be, God, it could be longer. But I think I would have thought within 6 to 12 months you would see a difference in either how many times a day you need the pen, the insulin shot, and because those insulin pens are adjustable to give you a different amount of insulin depending on how much, what your sugar level is or your blood glucose level is. They're adjustable. So you might be getting less insulin and fewer shots of it over the longer term. So you would need to keep a diary of what you're taking and how many mils you're taking at a time and all that over that period. But by God, it'd be an interesting experiment. And if it can work on the pancreas, what else can it work on? I know just from my own personal experience, I have a knee cartilage issue in one of my knees, and it usually troubles me every day, whether it's a stabbing pain that goes up my leg or a stabbing pain that goes down my leg, or one that just makes my knee throb and swell up for a bit. I haven't had that since I've been wearing these patches. I've had no knee pain since I've been wearing these patches. I am so thankful for that, because knees for me were the worst, long-term effect that I've had. My neck, back and shoulders have copped a bit of a punishing over the last couple of weeks. I've managed to tear ribs again and done stupid bloody things with my back. I just want to give that a bit of a rest for a while. Hopefully it will strengthen up a bit. I've been doing a bit more exercise, and yes, I am still drinking the juices. And I've got to say that my juice is nearly as good as the personal trainer's juice. Celery, carrot, apple, and a bit of ginger. Really, really nice. Not necessarily what you'd have to start off the day. I would highly recommend a little under 500 mils of celery juice, and then sticking close to a dunny for a good couple of hours. By God, it's a bit of a clean out, I can tell you. What else was I going to talk about tonight? As we did talk about the Laurie story early. Oh, yeah, look, I've got a few little interesting things to show you. Now, the other night, if you were on Facebook or you were watching on the Nun 2K channel, I did put out a live about the weather that was going on at the time. This is a shot that I took, a screenshot that I took. That's Port Hedland far left with two beams coming out of it. And the beams actually appear to be coming off the water rather than the land, but that could just be a graphics thing. The one that interested me is this one that's in the center of the country. Now, for me, at any rate, and I don't watch these maps and for these things every day, but for me at least, that one is a new one, a new pulse. Now, I wasn't able to get a video recording, if you like, of it working at the time. But at the time, I was looking at weather shots and windy.com, seeing which way the weather was coming. And the weather was coming up from the Southern Ocean, up through the Bight, basically blowing up, angling over the top of Port Augusta and heading for central, western and far north Queensland. That was the general direction of the wind. Now, whatever that thing in the middle there was doing, and we suspect that these are the heaters, the ionospheric heaters that they're using. Now, that would have been heating up the cold air coming up from the Southern Ocean, getting it to rise up and catching the jet stream, which would bring it fast over to the east coast, and it would cool on its way down. And where would it cool down and start landing? Right about where you see those thunderstorms start to brew out from Mount Isa and further towards the coast and south of Cairns. You'll also see them brew out the back of central Western Queensland and blow their way in through Biloela and Mara and Banana and places like that. And then, of course, they engineer the other ones coming up from the bottom. And at the moment, that's what's happening. The storm outside at the moment that Camillo was experiencing has actually been on the Gold Coast and parts south of the border today and blown its way up through Brisbane and now heading up to the Sunshine Coast. The storm has been quite funny. It has been hovering around. It's been a stationary storm. Haven't seen those in a little while. Over the Christmas break, I got bombarded on my phone with an ad for something called Replica AI. Did you happen to see this? If you've got kids, go and see if they've got this piece of shit app on their phone already. Create your own Replica AI. So you can basically generate another person that won't necessarily have to look anything like you. You can have them look and, whatever you want, whichever way you want. The bit that really got me, though, was the tagline in the whole thing. I'm always ready for NSFW roleplay and share hot photos with you. Now, do you know what NSFW stands for? Not safe for work roleplay. I'm always ready for not safe for work roleplay and to share hot photos with you. If your kids have got that on their phone, odds are they're being dumbed down to the whole nudity thing. And I'm just so concerned about it on so many levels. However, don't download it. If you find someone with it on their phone, try and educate them. It's a very dangerous thing to have. It's a Chinese made app. There are don't know if I can say that. There are significant challenges with Chinese technology and particularly apps. So you might be aware of the TikTok app and the problems that are associated with that. If you have TikTok on your phone, and I don't know how many people I've told this to, they just don't care. If you have TikTok on your phone, then the Chinese government are spying and they are taking all your data. Everything that you think is secure in your phone is not. And it's done through TikTok and other things like Replica AI, where you can create something that you're not and live a whole other life. It doesn't have to be sending sexy photos. You can be a menacing, threatening, evil bastard on there too, just as easy. A lot of people seem to think that. Speaking of threatening, evil, menacing bastards, Albanese started squawking again there between Christmas and New Year. No more diesel cars after 2025. This is aimed at our Dodge, Ram, and GMC drivers, the people who don't. They have a perfect right to own these vehicles, and in most cases, a very good, capable need for a vehicle this size to be able to tow work trailers and such. I'm talking now of builders, tilers, the kind of people who need to haul around 3.5-ton trailers full of gear, and utes that are also full of gear. Yes, okay, a little bit inconvenient to go and park or try and find a park around at the local IGA supermarket, but they're doable. And most people I've found, particularly in my area with these large, longer, extended vehicles, park out on the road. They don't go in and take up 4 car parks. However, diesel's gone by 2025, according to Albo. They're not going to allow any more diesel vehicles in unless they meet the Euro 6 standard, which is what Europe is currently under regarding emissions. And I think the Euro 6 standard is 162 grams per kilometre, 162 grams of CO2 per kilometre emitted. So at the moment, those big Fords and GMCs and Rams and whatnot, they're not coming anywhere close to that. So that, in theory, means that, well, it's going to be a pickup for electric vehicles. Well, no, unfortunately, it's not. Even an electric vehicle, which Ford, incidentally, has stopped building. They've stopped building their big F-Series electric F-Series trucks. They've got 62,000 of them sitting unsold around America, and I guess in other parts of the world at the moment. They aren't going to bite the bullet again. They've lost $4.9 billion on the electric vehicle side of their business alone. That's Ford. So, yeah, electric vehicles, particularly big, GMC Ute Ranger type vehicle, electric vehicles, clearly not cutting it in America for anybody at this stage. And Albo obviously thinks they're going to be able to sell them off here cheaply because, the Australians will buy them. Look, they might be great if you want to tow your lawnmower around town, but these things are just not going to be capable of towing a 40-foot caravan across Australia. I noticed, was it last weekend? Must have been over the weekend or just after Christmas. The pile-ups at service stations on the Bruce Highway and on the Pacific Highway between Sydney and Byron, the pile-ups at the electric car recharging points were staggering. 20 cars just sitting around waiting so that the 3 that were on charge could get fully charged and go. Now, those chargers are meant to charge your car in 30 minutes. But I don't know if that's 30 minutes to just get you another, 100 Ks up the road, or 30 minutes to give you a full charge. I know that the same car, if you to bring it home and plug it into your garage at home, it's going to take 10 hours to charge your car to full. But out on the highway, they reckon half an hour or so. Superchargers, I think they're calling them. Well, they're not too super because the people who park at them don't sit in them for half an hour. They don't want to sit in a stinking hot car without any air conditioning while it's charging. So what do? They go off to the servo. And they go and have a cup of coffee and a wee and a walk around. And no. Instead of being half an hour, they're 35, 40 minutes. By the time they get back, there's 3 people lined up behind the 3 people who are already lined up to get into that one car recharging point. And the most frustrating thing for anybody who comes in at that point is that they have no choice but to wait. So with every 20 minutes, half an hour that you average out for each car, there are 3 charging points and there are 25 cars. You do the math. You're going to be sitting at that servo for a couple of hours before you are able to get going again, if not more. Now, that was just a quiet day where there were 20 cars waiting. There are stories on the Hume Highway that are much worse than that. So electric vehicles in this country, if you've got one, I hope you're living in the city and you feel really good about yourself because, how many kids died to make the lithium-ion batteries that power your vehicle? Guess you'll never know. Nobody ever does. What else has been going on in the wild world of things? There was something I was going to show you. 29th of December. Switzerland is such a beautiful place. I don't know if you've ever been there. I was lucky to go there once. It really is as beautiful as all the pictures that you've seen say it is. And yes, they really do have an overabundance of cuckoo clocks. But right now, over Geneva, there's all sorts of weird shit going on. And as of December 29th, it was this
Check
kind of
out
weird.
this wild video from Geneva in Switzerland. On December 29th, 2023. No coincidence, I'm sure, that that's the same location that CERN's particle accelerator's at. It looks like they are opening portals again. I'm sure the boosted community will just claim it's a thunderstorm. It's called weather. What do you think?
Bit interesting, eh? I found it a bit weird myself. But had it confirmed, I have a friend in Geneva, and sent him an email and got confirmation that, yes, weirdest electrical storm they've ever seen happened on the 29th of December. So a lot of weird things happening around the world now, as it turns out, weather-wise, that people have never seen before. There are people who've lived through this tornado experience on the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast has never seen a tornado. Australian, landmass doesn't generally get too many tornadoes, and we certainly don't have a tornado alley like Americans do. God forbid that we get one, and if it starts up using the Gold Coast as a homing beacon, that's not going to be real flash. If you haven't already, go and have a look at some of the amazing videos that people took of that weather coming through. But truly frightening is the one where the lightning illuminates the vortex, the spinning vortex, and people are sort of talking about it. Wow, is that actually a tornado? And clearly, after a bit of deliberation, the Bureau came out and said, yes, it was in fact a tornado. It started out the back of the hinterland at Cedar Lake or Cedar Creek, where the winds were a bit over 100 kilometres an hour. By the time it got through Canungra, they were approaching 140, 150 kilometres an hour as they came over the hinterland into Maudsley, Upper Coomera, Oxenford. The winds were at 160, 170 kilometres an hour. As they passed over Movie World and headed up Saganto Drive or up Discovery Drive in Helensvale, they were over 200 kilometres an hour and maintained that right the way across until it got to the water at Ephraim Island and disappeared out into the Broadwater at 200 kilometres an hour. And I do have some photos of the damage that was done at Ephraim Island and other places. I'm sure you can see that yourself. So my thoughts are with everybody who is still cleaning up after that bloody mess. And the fact that today, just here where I live in Brisbane, we got over 100 mil of rain this afternoon it brightened up and the storm blew away. But yeah, just this morning, over 100 mil of rain. So some staggering rainfalls on the Gold Coast in the last few days. 250 mil yesterday, I think it was, on the Gold Coast. That's why we're seeing such phenomenal flooding in places down there. So if it's where you are at the moment and you need a hand, reach out. Don't forget the My Place groups on the Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast stand ready to help. And if you can help, particularly the Sunshine Coast My Place mob on Friday and or Saturday, we would love to have you as part of it. I'll bring that up again just so that you know where and what time you should be where you should be. The address is 24 Karoi Noosa Road, and there is the rest of the details. Friday the 5th and Saturday the 6th, pardon me, 9 till 3. Camillo's the man who's going to be up there along with the My Place Noosa crew to be in charge, try and clean up what is a bit of a mess at the moment, but will become 27 acres of some of the most amazing property that will benefit communities on the Sunshine Coast for years to come. I am absolutely sure of it. So if you can help, folks, please bring yourself, but if you can bring a broom, bring a mop, bring a bucket, bring a shovel, bring a rake, bring a blower. If you happen to have a bobcat, please bring that on the truck that you would normally transport it around in. That'd be great because we can fill the truck up, get that off to the tip. The Noosa My Place folks are looking after the tipping fees, so there won't be any cost to that. But if you could come and help donate your equipment and your expertise driving it, because, I'm happy to drive it for you. And here is my offer. If anybody has a bobcat and they don't want to do the job but are happy to let me do the job in the bobcat, I've got an HR truck license. I don't know whether or not you want me driving it off the back of the truck or not, but I'll give it a go. Put it that way. Always wanted to have a go on a bobcat. But if you've got one, you'd probably feel safer if you were driving it. So we'd love to have you come and join us Friday at 24 Karoi Noosa Road in Tewantin. It's just on the north side of the golf club, the Tawantin Noosa Golf Club. Beautiful part of the world. Love to see you there. Come up, be part of it. Help us clean that mess up and make it safe for kids, make it safe for families. And some of those 6,000 homeless folks on the Sunshine Coast will be able to benefit from it. It's going to be absolutely amazing to be part of. And we'd love to see you there being part of it, folks. Please come and join us. Might even get a bit of a show going from there Friday night. It will be a little weather dependent, all right? So if it's persistently precipitating, Camilla will get on to me. They'll be making a decision, and we will call it and come back for Saturday and give it another go if that's the case. But if the weather does turn bad, then just remember we're going to be asking you to come and give us help in the next couple of weeks. But at this stage, it looks like Friday is going to be the day, and it looks like it's going to be a nice day. Saturday doesn't look like it's going to be too bad either. And when I say nice, I mean it's not going to be too hot. That's going to be the key. There might be a little bit of cloud cover, and that could be the little saving grace for us all. All right, folks, I think I've covered everything I had on my little thing. The X39 Zoom with Tim Dwyer is coming up on the 7th of January. If you haven't already got an email from me and you want to be part of that, then just email me, carl@vofhq.com, and I will send it to you. We would love to see you over at the website, vofhq.com. Come and join us, be a member. We are looking for more members. We need to get our machinery fixed up and back on the road. Thankfully, I'm pretty confident I don't need to buy 3 new batteries, 1 for a truck and 2 for the solar. God, that would be a very painful shock. But I'm going to leave now and go and check how the charging process is going on the truck battery. And I am very confident that once I bring her up, I will be able to bring up the solar batteries as well. So hopefully that'll all go well. And if that is the case, I'll bring the mobile broadcast center up to Tawantin on Friday. And we will, I'll bring my blower, I'll bring my gloves, I'll bring a rake. I've got a few other implements of destruction. Never know. Look forward to seeing you there, folks. That would be a great thing. Thanks for joining me in the chat tonight. I haven't spent enough time with you. The Japanese earthquake. Yep, thanks, Crunch. So the tsunami, as far as I'm aware, after the Japanese earthquake, 7.5. I think there were a series of earthquakes, 3 or 4 below 4.0, and then one that went to 7.5. I'm not exactly sure about the western coast of Japan and the islands around it and how populated they are. But it's my understanding that while tsunami warnings went out, no tsunami really arrived. The first wave was only a couple of inches high when it actually reached land. So they were still stressing that there were going to be maybe as many as 5 waves following it, but none of them got to any size at all, as far as I'm aware. And last death count I heard from it was 4. So thankfully, Japan might have ducked a bullet there. Do we say that? I don't know. Don't know if that's the case. Yeah, Laurie, I just want to thank you again, Laurie. Thank you for your testimonial. And it's great you're still making more discoveries and you're only 7 days in. I've got some testimonials via email, which I'll go through and edit up so that I can show you. Some folks are having some pretty interesting discoveries. Initially, in one lady's case, she didn't feel anything was happening, anything good was happening for a couple of days. It was only about 4 days into it, she began to begrudgingly say, oh, well, yes, I'm a bit better here, or my pain's a bit better there, or whatever. But the difference was noted by her husband in those 4 days. One of the most startling realizations that he had was that she was looking younger. Now, that has been a common thread in comments that I have received. People look younger. After wearing the patch for a week, they look younger. Don't feel like they've got to go and have the Botox injection. Don't feel like they've got to go and, put on the the face tightening gels and all that sort of stuff to get rid of the wrinkles. They look and feel younger. And I would argue that while lighting, plays a certain role, I would argue that listening to Laurie's pre-patch video and watching that, and then back to back seeing her post-patch video and listening to her speak, I would say it's taken years off her. Right? There's just so much more life in her voice, so much more energy in her. There's a smile on her face, or she's threatening to crack one at any rate. So, that's the kind of thing that I look for, that smile, that realization that there are changes happening. And sometimes they may not be immediately apparent. Sometimes they sneak up on you. And I think Laurie just said she's got, many other things she's learning about what the patch is doing. And she's only 7 days into her first course. So, it's amazing stuff, folks. I pray that it works for you. Unfortunately, there are some that it doesn't work for, or some that get impatient and get off it early. I can only say, in my experience, using very conservative figures, more than 90% success rate, and not just a little bit of success, major success, major benefits in reducing pain, in increasing fitness, or not so much fitness, but increasing energy, stamina, bringing focus and clarity to the mind. So many people saying so many things about these products. I'm blown away by what you're saying and by what we are all experiencing, except for that unfortunate 1% that it doesn't seem to have much of an effect on, for which I'm very sorry. But, maybe the next patch when it comes to Australia, maybe that will help you guys. And that's the X49, but that's not available in this country yet. So might be a little while before it gets there. Laurie's just dropping a bit more. Just as a side, your dog had something wrong with his ears, and you've been putting your used patches on the foot of your bed where the dog sleeps, and it seems to be improving his ears. Yep, we get a lot of reports of the dogs improving. In fact, Carol's dog is almost gone back half its age, carrying on like a young blue heeler should. Blown away by that. Sorry, Tim, getting very stressed while people telling me nothing can be done regarding certain suppression orders. I'll have to talk to you about that one, mate, because if there's suppression orders, I'm not going to talk about it on the show just yet. Japan earthquakes, at least 10 kilometers down Dums. Yeah, well, one would have to say if they're cleaning out Dums with earthquakes, then anybody that was down there that could survive or could be brought up already had been. Didn't realize that they were 10 Ks down, the earthquake. That's interesting. So, yeah, I will need to go and have a little bit more look on that. Unfortunately, the last couple of days I've been, last week or so, just dealing with water and wind and lots of water. So all sorted now. Please God, no more touch wood. And hopefully we can all go up to having maybe a little bit of a Christmas holiday for those of you that are still on holidays. I hope it doesn't get blown away, or your school holiday plans don't get blown away completely. And you can get around and do a few things without getting soaking wet. I got out of the car yesterday, took 3 steps, ran 3 steps from my car to under an awning, soaked, absolutely soaked. Okay, I'm a big target, but, even still. Be safe on the roads, folks. They are very wet. They are very slippery. I watched a 4-wheel drive overtake a car today. And as it came back in front of the car that had the dash cam on, it started to slide sideways and only just missed by a 15th, which is just a little bit less than a bee's dick, missed a car coming in the opposite direction when it overcorrected and came back on into the right-hand or oncoming lane. It's that easy to do. Slippery, slippery, slippery roads. Be safe, folks. There are plenty of dickheads out there going too fast. Don't you be one of them.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!